I was from an Indian family, and as all typical Indian family, when I was young, they wanted me to be a doctor, engineer, or a lawyer. This is typically what an Indian family wants from their daughter, and so they had wanted me to take one of those occupations as I grew old. And when I was growing up, I had a very soft corner for animals. I would hate to see animals suffering, and so I really wanted to be a doctor. That was what I wanted to be growing up. When I was in college, I had an opportunity to take part in this wonderful event. And this was a big event in Mumbai. It was a musical night, it was a beauty contest, and it's a film award night. So I took part in the beauty contest, and I was very surprised when I won, because I was competing with all the girls from Mumbai, then called Bombay, and I was from Bangalore. And when I won the beauty contest, I was given a lot of modeling offers, and as well as film offers, and that's how I got into modeling. What I liked about modeling was it was such a glamorous job, and to be from, I grew up in India, in southern part of India, and I was from a very tiny place called Coorg, and to be in, and because of my modeling, life took me to New York, and I was modeling in New York City, and to do the fashion shows, to do the runway, to be working with some of the greatest designers in America, and also the very well-known Indian designers, to be doing the runway shows during fashion shows. It was just amazing. I was also the face of Majanga handbags, and also worked in Bergdorf Goodman. I was an in-house model. So it was really exciting to be in New York and to have your dream come true. It's a dream of every little girl to be a model, to be modeling in New York. And so that was very, very exciting moment for me. The highlight of my modeling career was to be in New York and to be a fashion model there, to be modeling for all these fabulous designers like Armani, Diane von Furstenberg, Chanel, and also all these Indian designers, well-known Indian designers like all the famous designers who would come to New York to showcase their clothes and to be a runway model. And I was also very, very excited to be the face of Majanga handbags, and also to be modeling for Bergdorf Goodman, and to be in the fashion city, New York. That was the highlight of my life. I was absolutely excited to be bumping heads with fashion models, music directors, and the whole world was at your feet. So it was an incredible time for me to be in New York City. The hard part of modeling is you're always comparing yourself with the other models who are better looking than you, who are thinner than you. And that's what is going in my mind. Oh my God, look at that model. She's thinner than me. She's taller than me. She's more beautiful looking than me. And this is a comparison that you really don't feel confident. And modeling career is very short-lived. So what happens is younger women are coming and taking up your jobs. And so there's a lot of models go through this not being confident. You're always being competitive. You're always looking at others and comparing yourself. And I think that's the hard part, because that really, really hurts your self-confidence. And I truly believe that nowadays, thank God, in New York, I see all ages who are models, all weight and so on, and that's a good situation to be in. But back in the day, you had to be really very skinny, very tall, and very young, and that was a hard part, to be comparing yourself with all the other beautiful models. I was getting very disenchanted with the modeling world. You know, everything was like an illusion. All the models, even the most beautiful models, had to be photoshopped, and you know, they were so gorgeous, but their weight had to be reduced, and I could see the absolute illusion of the whole thing, and I was searching for something more real. And I went back to my childhood, where spirituality was so important. It was a foundation for us, and it had so much deeper meaning. So I was seeking for something meaningful spiritually, and I was so lucky to find this wonderful place in New York, which was a center, Dharma center, known as Kagyu Zamling Kunchap. And I called the center, and the vice president then was Tashi Dorje Linus, who invited me to the Dharma center to practice. And I went to the center, and I was totally felt at home, and I went continuously every week to go and practice Dharma there. And then that led me to the upstate monastery, the Buddhist monastery, where my whole life changed. And incidentally, I'm so lucky to be here in San Miguel, because so many years back I met the Vice President Tashi Dorje Linus, who now invited me to San Miguel because he has a Dharma center here, and he invited me to teach, and you know, for all of us to get together and do the Dharma practice, because there, I'm so surprised. We have come across so many friends, we met so many new people who are all interested in Dharma, and since Tashi Dorje Linus has his Dharma center, we all meet there to practice Dharma, and this is one of the highlight of being in San Miguel. Yes, and I'm so happy about that. Thank you. Oh my God, the reaction from my friends was, "Are you absolutely crazy?" You know, they could not understand that, you know, I was going to give up all this glamour and everything to go and do a 3.5-year retreat and go and become a nun. They were absolutely shocked. They really thought I was crazy. And I had so many friends invite me to their house to say, "No, you can't do this. You're really crazy." But my heart was convinced, and you know, I felt instinctively this was the right thing to do, because what happened was, after I went to the upstate monastery, I realized that in the monastery there was a 3-year retreat that I could enter, and that's what I did, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to practice very advanced meditation practice, and that's what I did. I gave up the whole modeling career, all the glamorous world, for something that was extremely minimal, to seek spirituality, to do these advanced practice. Yes, I was absolutely inspired by my father, who went on his spiritual journey, and this was a seed that was planted in my head of what you know, a spirituality, a life of spirituality can be. And as a young child, I would be so inspired by all the Indian sages, and I wished I could be one of them. And I was also very lucky. As a young child, I went to a Catholic school in southern India, in Mysore. It was called Good Shepherd Convent Catholic School, and in the school we had to attend Mass, we had to learn about Christ and the Virgin Mary. And as a young child, Virgin Mary was very, very close to my heart. I would always pray to her, and I was so inspired by Christianity, and I was very, very happy to learn the Bible, and even today it plays a very, very important role because I was very lucky to have all these spiritual traditions introduced to me when I was very young. I live in upstate New York, and I live in the monastery. I'm a Buddhist nun, and I live in the monastery, so I'm able to do all the practice and to spiritually grow. We have a huge Sangha members living in the monastery. We have a lot of other nuns and monks and lamas and also few lay people, and it's wonderful to live in the monastery because you're constantly learning spiritually. I'm able to do all the ritual practices. I'm all able to come together as a Sangha and do our morning rituals, the evening prayers, all the chanting, and we have all special Rinpoches, highly realized masters come and give teachings. So the idea is we'll spiritually grow and we will keep the practice very strong. So that is one of the blessings of living in the monastery. Yes, thank you. Well, Drolma is a Tibetan word, and it really means a liberator. Drolma also is the mother of liberator. Drolma also means a deity called Tara, and she reminds me of the Virgin Mary. You know, Mother Tara is all-encompassing, compassionate. She has the compassion of all the Buddhas put together, and that is what Drolma means. And when you become a Buddhist, they give you a new name, and to me, the deity Drolma, she's all powerful, she's so strong, and she's compassionate, she's loving, and she's all about kindness. And very much as a young girl, when I was studying in the Catholic school, I always prayed to Mother Virgin Mary, and to me Tara represents that. So Drolma means Tara, the Tibetan deity who's the most prayed to in the Tibetan tradition, in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. If I were to do it again, I would not change a thing. It was wonderful because I went through all these experiences of going, studying, being in India, and then my life took me to all these wonderful places. I lived in Hong Kong for a while, I lived in Australia, and then I got married, and then I lived in Hawaii, and we lived in London. We had a home in London, and then obviously, like, life happened, and I had a divorce, and then I moved to New York, and then I reinvented my life, and I was a model there, and all these things that happened to my life formed a character, formed my personality. And then to find my spiritual path was very, very wonderful, because I didn't have to think, oh my God, what is it to have that other world? You know, what is samsara like? So I went through the whole aspect of life where I saw glamour, love, sorrow, beauty, everything. And then to go into the spiritual path, I feel was the best thing that happened, because I didn't have to ever regret. I didn't have any regrets. So to me, the way it all unraveled, I really feel I was so lucky. In my heart, there is no judgment how a person is learning spirituality. Sometimes they may be people who are just beginning to learn, and maybe they go to many different traditions, and they probably mix everything, and sometimes it may be very fashionable to learn yoga, and so we have all kinds of people. But for me, I don't judge anyone, because everybody's path is not the same. Some of us may find the path very directly, some of us may find the path through friends, some it's fashionable to do some yoga and find the path in that way. But in the end, we all have a spiritual intellect within us, and this intellect within us will demand for authenticity. And that I've seen so many friends from going to India, seeking to find themselves. A lot of them say, oh, I'm going to India to find myself. And the funny thing is, I came all the way from India, so many continents, and met my teacher in New York, and I took that spiritual path, the Buddhist tradition. So like many rivers meet the ocean, many people, they will probably at first they may do one type of a spiritual tradition, another, and finally they all come together and they will meet the right spiritual path. When people ask questions, or when people talk to me, basically I really want to listen to them, because sometimes or most often they basically want to talk to you. They want to talk to you what is in their heart, and most often what they feel, what they are suffering. One of the first teachings of Buddha was everybody wants to be happy, and because they want to be happy, they do all kinds of things, and that leads to suffering. So that was one of Buddha's first teaching, that life is suffering. And so when people talk to me, I know what they really want, some kind of happiness, some kind of solace. And so my role is to listen to them and not really give too much advice, only if they need something. And I listen to them with compassion, because I know how hard it is, to be out in the world. There are so many challenges, so many things to deal with. And so when they, talk to me, I just listen with a very open mind. I really show them the energy of compassion. I show them the energy of, give them the energy of love and kindness. And that's what I do, yes. When you have anxiety, I'll teach you a few steps of meditation that really works. And this is what you need to do. Just sit upright, comfortably, wherever you are, like so. And you can keep your gaze low, or you can just look up, or you can close your eyes if you want. And what you need to do is take 3 deep breaths, like so. So the first breath, inhale deeply. And as you breathe out, really breathe out with a deep sigh, that all your negative energy is just leaving your body. And we'll do the second breath. Inhale deeply all the way to your abdomen, and as you exhale, breathe out all your negative energy and let it just permeate space. And this is the second breath. And now the third breath. Again, inhale deeply. And as you exhale, just breathe out all your negative energy. And then just sit in that present moment of awareness. So here's the third breath. come to the present moment. So what we normally tend to do, our minds, our thoughts are always going to the future or it's going to the past, and that's where we have a lot of suffering. But what is important is to constantly bring your mind to the present moment. And to bring the mind to the present moment, how do we do it? Because our minds are always like a monkey jumping from one thought to another. So we have to give these thoughts, the mind, an anchor. And one of the best anchor of bringing the mind's attention is to our breath. So the 3 breaths are just when you just want that instant release when you have anxiety. But meditation, when you really do proper meditation, it's you breathe normally. So how do we give this monkey mind, this mind that keeps jumping from one thought to another? It's the thought that causes anxiousness, suffering and pain. So while we do meditation, we bring that mind to a kind of a stillness, to the present moment. And how do we do it? Is we put our mind's attention to our breath. Like we breathe in, so we keep our mind's attention all the way as we breathe in. And as we exhale, we keep our mind's attention on our breath. And then we come to the present moment. And this present moment is where there lies that space, that spaciousness for the mind to rest.